Welcome back to another episode of This is GenShin Impact. Actually, this is the main character. This is Amber, and we got the rewards because this is the map. This is not mail. How do you open mail? I don't know. Anyway, a button. And the survey is actually pretty interesting. It just tries to get some information about your spending habits so that they can put their hand into your pocket even more efficiently. Like, you can either see this as something evil, or it's basically just market research, really. Well, actually, just if it is market research, it can also be evil, or good, for that matter. But yeah, what makes market research good or bad? Right? There have to be certain aspects of it, right, that you think are good and bad at the same time in order to distinguish this. Wait a minute. What is that? Yeah, there. There's this strange thing down there. Oh, wait a minute. This is the waypoint. I already got the waypoint. This is why I'm here. Let's do the enemies in this camp. Alright, market research, good and evil. What is it? What makes it? Whatever. Let's see. How can market research be evil, right? Or actually, what is evil? Evil is doing something that someone else, in this case you, don't like, right? This is evil. And good would be doing something that you like, right? This is a very subjective way of good and evil. And also a very personal one. And it might even be the most true, right? Because everybody can agree that if you get something out of a situation, then it's good. And if you don't, then it's bad. Ugh, can't move! Okay, the whirlwind ability is a bit of a cheat. Uh-oh. Okay, who should I attack first? I think the crossbow users might be the ones I need. You. Alright, come on. Oh no, wait a minute. Let's use a whirlwind ourselves. Why not? Our whirlwind is much more destructive. Anyway, back to the good and evil part. If you get something, it's good. If you lose something, it's evil. So if someone else takes something from you, then this is again considered to be evil. Or bad, whatever. Negative. Yes, you lose in this case. Now, how does that relate to a company being good or bad, right? Actually, a company doesn't do anything good, nor does it do anything evil, because they are always exchanging things for money. That means you get things, and at the same time, you give money, right? Or sometimes you give other things, like time or personal data, right? But you always get something in return that you, at least for the moment, think is somehow valuable. For example, the fact that you can, have a personal page on, let's say, Facebook or whatever. Because whatever other people say about, like, Facebook being a very evil corporation or whatnot, or all of the data trouble or not, people still use it. Either because, most of the time, actually. Or maybe, actually, I don't know. What is... why would people use Facebook? Usually because other people use Facebook. You don't just use it for Facebook's sake, right? Like, the idea of Facebook is for other people to be there. So you can either look them up as a book of faces. To spy on people. This is basically it. Or to present yourself. Right? In both ways, it's because of a person-to-person relationship, somehow. an interpersonal relationship. That's what we call it. So, what happens if you fire up that thing up there? You could try that. Anyway, interpersonal relationship. That's the driver for Facebook. And yeah, as a result, there is an exchange happening, and you think that the exchange is positive. That's why you do that. And let's say other companies just give you stuff, but you give them money, right? Same thing. You exchange. Actually, no one gets richer. Actually, okay, no. You do get richer because you lose something that you don't value as much, right? Because value is, again, something personal. There is no absolute value. There's only personal value. Because you put value on things, and this is what makes them valuable. This is why a keepsake, like a family heirloom or whatever, is valuable to you, but not to others. Because you see something in it that other people don't, or just not yet see, right? Because you have some, again, yeah, an interpersonal connection with it. This is what makes an heirloom so special. So a personal connection. And what else is interesting? Like, companies themselves try to get a personal connection to you too, right? They try to put their brand in your mind, and they try to relate it as some kind of a friend, right? Like, they try to personalize or personify or human, whatever. They try to make their brand into a person. This is also why there are, why there are brand accounts on Twitter and Facebook, right? Why else would a brand put an account on Twitter or Facebook? And a brand can not speak. It only speaks through the person that is supposed to be the talking mouth, right? The PR person. So the PR person is basically the mouth of the PR company. Or like the, not the PR company, but public relationship person, right? Is the mouthpiece of the company, therefore making it human-ish. It doesn't turn it directly into a human, but it gives it human qualities. And speaking and listening is a quality of a human being. And sometimes they're even a little bit of a dig about it, and sometimes they're even sane and you can actually talk to them quite nicely. But yeah, again, an interpersonal relationship. You don't just talk with a rock or something. You believe that the person at the other end is actually a human being. Or actually, you don't have to believe it. You just think that the other person or the thing on the other side is something you want to talk to, right? The interpersonal connection is always made from your point only. And it is never two ways, it's always one way. This is also something to keep in mind. Relationships are only one way. You, in relationship to the person that you want to have a relationship with. It's never backwards. Like, the other person can have also some kind of an idea of a relationship with you. But it is not a feedback thing, like a ball hitting a wall and coming back again. It's always going outwards. This is basically it. Sometimes they can overlap, and this is a mutual relationship, and sometimes they don't, and then it is a one-sided relationship. Quite interesting if you think about it. Same goes for companies, right? You can have a fairly one-sided relationship with a company. Sometimes you just lose a lizard. Anyway. Ooh. I don't want to destroy the vegetation too much. It's... Alright, anyway. Where was I? Relationships, human connection, mouthpieces, PR persons, something like that. Bada-boom. So, but it all started because of the because of the good and evil question of a company. They just take in money and give you something in return, and you think that the item you give away, in some cases money or sometimes time or whatever, is less valuable to you than the thing you get in return. And this is what gets you richer. It's a belief, it's an idea of richness, right? And in this case, you see some use case in an object or thing or whatever. Let's say you see a useful property in a thing. And instead of thing, you can put anything in there, right? Really anything. And this is what makes stuff valuable to people all over the place. So you see something valuable in it. And this is why you do the trade-in. You will get richer as a result of it. And we just pushed away a birdie. Alright. For example, me hitting these brushes. I don't really like hitting the brushes, but I see something valuable in those brushes that sometimes comes out. And it is a lizard or matsutake. It's basically items, right? This is why I hit the trees, right? I give something, in this case it's the action, and I get something in return, which is the expected reward. Did I? I don't know. Maybe. No, I didn't. It's gone now. Too bad. Anyway, and I do get something in return. It's always a trade-in. It doesn't need to be transactional. Well, actually, it kind of behaves transactional-ish. But yeah, it does not always need to be like a buying thing. It can always be like acting things out. In this case, I could have just run away from those enemies, but it didn't. I hit them. Because first of all, I know that I can defeat them, but then why would I defeat them? Because I get experience from it, and it is the expected way of behaving in this game, right? It is the thing that I think is supposed to happen right now. This is why I do it. It's always coming down to a belief system. Ooh, there we got a ceiling. And belief is basically what drives everything. You believe that things are the way they are supposed to be because you think the way... And also this turns the things into existence. How else could you do that? Like there's... I don't know if the wording is correct, but they're saying that belief can change the world, or actually move mountains. And in order to move mountains, right, you need an awful lot of belief. Meaning, belief can shape the world. Not literally, sometimes quite literally, but most often than not, it's just that belief kind of shapes our way of thinking of the world. That's it. So how did I manage to pick this flower? Like this blob is supposed to come out, isn't it? No, this is not a blob, it's just a fire flower. Ah, whatever. Let's get the ceiling. Again. I think I got this one before. Anyway, belief can shape the way we see the world, right? We believe that things are a certain way, and we then act out something. Okay, and there's another glider thingy. Oh, this is a glider thingy. So this is glider. Glider ceiling. Alright. Anyway, back to the transactional thing. We're supposed to do something, or at least we think that a certain way of behaving is the way we are supposed to behave. This is why we do the actions in this manner, and not another way around. What is that? 31. Keep heading towards Monster. But Monster is over here, so why is the marker pointing me this way? Why is there a marker? Why is the... Oh! It was the glider mission. I just did it without a glider. Yeah. Nice. So, I completely lost my train of thought right now. And why is it a train? Train. Sometimes it can also be a little bit of a drain. And sometimes not. So, but I at least want to finish my thought process for a moment. So that you can get some, yeah, bits and bobs of knowledge out of it. Oh, that is a beautiful trait. Anyway, people do the things they do because they think this is the right thing to do. They expect this behavior to happen. Not because it's correct or anything. There's no assessment of the action happening there. They just do it because they do it. And it's just ingrained, right? People don't really know what they're doing. They're just blind machines most of the time. And if you ask them why they did it a certain way, they can't give you a real answer because they just make up an answer that is expected to say, like, I do it because of this. And the answer they give is supposed to fit into the general way of acting, like the expected answer in this case, right? Like, why have you bought this item? Because it's faster, because it looks good, because, okay, this is very subjective, really. Okay, the term of fastness, probably not, but let's say people are buying food in a supermarket. Then, yeah, they have put an awful lot of stuff in the basket at their shopping cart, and then you ask them, okay, why have you bought this? And then they assess their choices, and then they suddenly figure out, oh shit, the stuff I put there is actually quite horrendous. Why did I put it in there? But they still go to the checkout and they still keep their items because they're not thinking straight. Well, not straight. They never really thought about what they're doing. And in this case, it's like an automaton doing their actions. And it does not, like, no one is safe from this way of acting because this is how humans are. Like, even I do that, right? Like, the best way of describing this is I have an awful lot of Steam games, and I have not played all of them, which means I actually purchased them for no reason, right? Like, what else is the reason of buying a game if you don't play it? Having it. The simple occasion, right? Of, okay, it's available, let's pick it, let's put it in the library, but if you don't play it, then what? At least this is the best thing I have at the moment, right? And others usually do that too, with other items. Oh, it's a botanist. Not just a child, it's Chloris. Hello, Chloris. Chlorophyll. Oh, that's a very descriptive way. What plant is this? Oh, and what plant is that? And what plant is this? And what plant is that? Anyway, you do the things you do because you just do them because it's ingrained inside of you. And it's very difficult to change ingrained behavior. You have to really act against it. You have to be reminded of your actions every time you do them. So you can kind of like put your hand into the boxes in your brain and sort them, right? Because this is basically like your brain is making shortcuts to make thinking more efficient. This is also why we have stereotypes and why we use stereotypes and why stereotypes are actually good. But sometimes stereotypes are used in order to short-circuit your brain to again get an expected behavior from you, right? Again, what is the positive idea of a shortcut, right? Or stereotypes, basically. How could I use stereotypes without being a little bit mean against certain people? Actually, no, I can't. This is also a bit iffy, but anyway. Alright, what good a stereotype could we go for? Let's go with cars, right? What stereotype would cars be? Okay, we have one car and another car. Two cars. Car A and car B. There's nothing different between the cars. It's just, yeah, they are the same. Except for one thing, color. One is white, or let's say, no, one is blue, the other one is red. Okay? No one would actually buy a blue or red car. Okay, I can't say no one. Usually people just don't buy these because they are expected to buy other cars. Gray ones, white ones, black ones. Again, no colorful ones, for whatever reason. I don't know why. Or at least the amount of colorful cars goes down by a certain amount. Anyway, you have a blue car and a red car. Which car is supposed to be faster? You go for the red one. Why? Because it's red. And you associate redness with being more energetic. And this is the stereotype happening there. It's just color. Not doing anything. Sometimes color has an effect, yes, on the chemical level, whatever, but not in this case. In this case, it's just visual. In this case, the effect of it is just happening in your brain and your association with a certain color. Or let's say, what kind of color are boys and girls supposed to wear? Red or blue? Again, it doesn't matter. Absolutely no difference. In some, it's just dependent on the culture you actually grew up, and sometimes also the time, right? Or the age, not the age of the person, but I mean like the year. In this case, in the past, red was a man color, and blue was a female color, right? It was the opposite way around. Like if you look at pictures way back, like the Maria and what other kind of pictures, like how they pictured religious people, right? They also used stereotypes to make it more easy to identify a certain person. In this case, yeah, the woman would wear blue and the man would probably wear red. And today, it flipped. Again, it makes no difference whatsoever. It just flipped. And we, again, associate a certain way of behaving, right? Or like we put attributes, we connect, like the brain connects everything all the time. And it connects stereotype with another stereotype. So we connect the idea of speed and like quickness and irrationality, chaotic movement, right? With redness, fire, right? Fast moving about. This is red. This is why the fastest car has to be red. Otherwise, it makes no sense whatsoever, right? And then why wouldn't it be red? Red makes it faster, of course, right? But yeah, this is what your brain does. It connects one thing with another for no reason other than, okay, it's a better shortcut, right? It helps you go about in your person-to-person life faster, more efficiently. So your brain doesn't need that much energy. It's just that. It's faster, it's better results, whatever. Like, sometimes it's not even better, right? What is better? This is just the thing. It's the expected result of it, right? So yeah, you see speed and heat and fast movement, and you see red most of the time. Or like other display this as redness, right? And this is why you think it has to be connected with red. Same thing with fire yellow, fire arrows. Why is it not yellow? Fire is also yellow, not just red. Fire can also be green sometimes if you put the right chemicals into it. Anyway, the expected color for fire is red. And then again, I turn to this windy kind of character here. And wind looks blue for some reason. Wind has no color whatsoever. It's just wind. It's movement of air particles, and those are transparent. But we still put a color on there that we believe is best associated with wind. That's why the wind color on here looks better. And this is where the useful situation with stereotypes comes into play. To get a quicker handle on your environment, or to quicker transfer ideas from one person to the next, or from a medium to a person, or whatever, right? So if this is wind, and wind is colored this way, then everything that has this color has to be wind, right? So every enemy that has this certain teal-ish blue color is windy. So that means that our stereotype works out. It helps us identify our enemy and then choose our counteracting element to make our damage better. And this is why stereotypes are good. Again, they're helpful. It's just a problem when someone else fiddles with your brain and tells you that this and this and this is supposed to happen, right? So the bad thing, again, with stereotypes happens because you are told something about stereotypes that, again, puts you in a position to act differently than you would have normally done, right? So someone else uses your stereotypes to their own advantage. You doing the same with your own stereotypes is actually the positive thing, right? Because, sometimes stereotypes are not true. Again, with the fire and speed and car thingy, right? Then it's a wrong connection in your brain. Then you have to open it and re-fiddle it. And this takes time, and sometimes it hurts. And this is why you usually don't fiddle with your brain that much. This is why it's in your skull. Joking. Cool. Don't fiddle with your brain. Not cool. Nice. And this is also how you can learn languages much faster, right? With association. With using one stereotype from one thing that you think fits with another stereotype. The word, for example. Nagai. The Japanese word for... Or was it naga? I think it was nagai. Anyway, the Japanese word for long. So, okay, what kind of other word for long do you know? What means longness? Not Loch Ness, but alright. The idea of longness. What else is long? A snake is fairly long. But snakes are not called naga. Except for one certain snake, World of Warcraft. We got our naga people, the snake people. They are naga. Therefore, longness is naga-i. This is why you can learn languages by connecting one word with another word just by stereotypes. Or actually just by connecting. And because your brain does connect everything automatically, you kind of help it out, or it helps you out doing the things you want to do much faster. A natural way of learning, so to speak. So don't try to force yourself just to connect a certain meaning of a word like long with the phrase of it by force, by just repeating it over and over and over again. Just try to get a meaning that you know already about it and connect it with that. And your brain will just instantly make the connection. Because it fits. Anyway, so much so to stereotypes. We still haven't talked to the botanist, but we will do this in another episode at another time. Until then, like and subscribe and use your stereotypes for good, of course. Ta-ta!